Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to Management 291, Strategic Management. I will be your facilitator. I'm doing this recording because we had to do a little modification because of what's going on with COVID-19. So now we are having a virtual classroom instead of a face-to-face. So if you look at, let me just click on. Let's go into follow me along and come into my the class. Now I'm using this recording for the next couple of semesters, so if you say that's not my class number, it's just a general information, just so you know how to manipulate in my course. Very similar to some of the other instructors you've taken already, utilizing Blackboard Collaboration. So we're going to click on this class here, and then you always can see my smiley face. For this class, what's required on here, here we go. You're looking at this. You're required to have. This is a new book. It's a version. It's an e-book. You also could get a loose leaf for some additional amount, but it's basically an e-book. When you buy the e-book, you have to make sure it has the MyLab attachment software passcode included. Otherwise, you will not be able to do any exams, any of the quizzes, or any of the homework assignments required to pass this class. All right. I think the cost is, I forget what the cost is. You could check at the Harper bookstore, or you could go directly to the publisher. I'll have some information in here. Okay, so that's it. So it's a book, the code. I just want to make sure, because some people buy it online or rent a book. You don't have the passcode. It may say the passcode's included, but then you look at the fine print. It says it doesn't guarantee that it works. Passcode's only a one-time deal. So if somebody already had it and utilized it and just put it back in there, passcode's no good anymore. Okay, so you have that. I'm going to go into the student mode. You're already familiar with this. You already know how to do it, Blackboard, announcements, everything else, because you're in this course here, the Management 291, is usually a class that students will take more at the end when you're looking at taking everything you've learned for all the other classes, and now you're looking at it as a manager and seeing the whole picture and how I'm going to strategically realign the organization or move the organization in a different direction, or maintain the same direction of the organization that I have right now. I don't want to lose any ground. I just have to maintain it depending on the systematic structural forces affecting all companies. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to go into student mode. And the reason I go into the student mode is just to see that I got everything turned on. So this will be turned on for you. Usually I'll turn it on by Saturday or Sunday midnight. So when you start your class, you're doing pretty good. Okay, now this one here, if you looked at this one, okay, so I got that in student mode. You notice it says virtual class every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Depends on which day your cohort meets. Or here it was a little bit adjusted because if your meets on Thursdays and I'm only available on Wednesdays, that's when you're at. I always try to line it up. So if you're looking at this and you meet on a Tuesday or Thursday, you go, Dr. George, this here will change depending on my availability and yours. If you're, most of you are already used to going to the adult fast track. You've taken face-to-face in the classroom, a blended type of format is how the adult fast track is set up. So you come to the classroom for 4 hours on a certain designated date, and then you do the rest of the stuff online. So you have as much contact hours as you would if you take this class as a traditional 16-week course. Okay, but you just finish it faster, adult fast track. Now, so I have this on here, so this is the date. So since you can't meet anymore for the next semester or so, they went into a virtual format, virtual classroom, to give you the same kind of a feeling as if I were in a classroom. Okay, now some of you, so in a virtual classroom, what you need to do is you need to have a webcam. I've got a little fancier one because I do some podcasting. I do a lot of virtual classrooms or training. When you read my bio, it'll explain that. So you could pick one up like this for about $20 at Target, Amazon. You can even find it better. eBay. eBay, you gotta be careful because sometimes eBay, yeah, it's eBay. All right. Amazon, at least you get a new one. They're not that expensive, and then you just plug it in. And this will be useful for most of you. Be finishing. Most of you already have. You got a laptop or something on here, or a desktop, but the desktop doesn't have an audio, or it is. You're going to be doing interviews. If you're going for interviews, or you're interviewing someone, or you're just having virtual meetings. So look at this as an experience. But if you can't make the virtual meeting for whatever reason, don't worry. You're not going to be penalized. You'll have to listen to this recording. When we record, all our lectures are recorded. It's within Blackboard Collaborate, so it has a firewall. You had to be a student in here to look at the recordings. So when you have the recordings, you could come in there, look at the recording, and you couldn't make the web my virtual recording. You at that time have to do a write-up paper, 700 words, 350 words per page, double space, 12-point font. What was covered in that 2-hour lecture virtual classroom that I was not able to attend? And remember, if you don't have a webcam, you can still use your smartphone. It has that information. I've done that sometimes on the go, and I have a virtual meeting, someplace else. Just do it with your smartphone. Some of my students utilize their smartphone. They don't want to do the write-up, so they're in Walmart or Home Depot. I go, where you at? I'm Home Depot. I'm recording this, so I don't have to do the writing. No different. The write-up, it helps you improve your writing skills, because as you advance and as you move up within a corporation, not only your verbal communication like I'm doing now, but your written communication is important. And now, because everything's changing with technology, this type of format, talking to people, being in a meeting, how do I look? Okay? All right. So we're in a student mode. So I'll open up. I want you to come in here, look at my bio, read the syllabi, look at this orientation video. Always make sure you check your grades, right? The grades are set up. I'll have the grades. Let's see, I don't have any grades in here now, but I'll have a running total, a percentage, and then I'll also have your current grade at this time. So you know what you have to do. You will be utilizing a here's a link for a weekly virtual classroom, link. Let me just click it on there, because you're going to have your first meeting. I'm just adjusting this class here, whatever date it has up there, but this one's going to be on a Wednesday. You click on this one, so you know where to find it, and you come into Blackboard Collaborate. I already preset all of these. If you notice that this room is a course room. This one is just a general classroom. I will, as an instructor, lock that. Don't click in here. You're not going to find it. I'll lock it when you do it. I use that I do some of my other kind of recording. But don't. You're going to come in here where it says Virtual Classroom. See where it says Virtual Classroom? All right, now you're going to click on this, and here are all the dates. Now the recurring, this is just says it's a recurring. This is like the main, when I set up, this is my main template. Don't click on this one, you'll have to go on the class. So your first class is going to be on the 7th. So this, remember, the way this virtual, online, blended, face-to-face combination adjustment is that this class will be open every Monday and closes Sunday at midnight. Your virtual meeting will be on a day that's specified. And for this class, it will be on a Wednesday from 6 to 8 o'clock. Normally, you would meet from 6 to 10 o'clock. Because of this virtual situation and connection, I just minimized it for 2 hours. And I will basically you'll do a lot more stuff online, similar to my fully online class, so you have the same contact hours, because you're going to be receiving credit just as you would be taking this class, a 16-week class or an 8-week online class, or in this case, an adult fast class. I'm preaching to choir. You already know this stuff. All right? So then you'll click on this class, and then it says adult first class. It starts at 10, and here's the time. Usually you'll have 15 minutes before the class is started. Come in there, check your camera, do everything else. All right? So now, if you want any kind, so now you come in there, and the minute it comes in there, I say, this is recorded, the etiquette. And some of you already know it, you're already adults, you're in business, is that when you come in, you mute your mic. You either have your face on there, a picture, usually on this one here, it's a virtual classroom, you put your webcam on, you could turn it off until we start the lectures, and it's easier to talk to and anything else. If you're logging in from your smartphone or anything else, make sure you write your name. Do I want to be George or anything else? Because if I have a phone number and you're getting attendance points or virtual points that are required either in the classroom or listening to my the recording, I will I won't be able to say that you're it because I don't know the phone number. I need a name. No different than the same skill sets when I use my smartphone when I call into a virtual meeting. They have an option to, hi, I'm George, I'm Dr. George. You could call me Dr. George or George. Usually I go by the Dr. George. In the classroom, you could just call me George. But since when you're doing the emails and everything else, it'd be Dr. George, just like you'd be talking to your supervisor, your manager. All right, so we have that. Now, so you have the orientation. Now, this orientation in here, some of you already have it. If you look at Blackboard, you will have a silhouette up on top. I'm in the student mode, so you don't see my silhouette. Let's see, could I do it? Nah. You know what I mean? So you'll have a silhouette. You'll click on the silhouette and how to submit your homework in here. If you don't know in Blackboard by this time, I think you already do. You're at the end. But just in case, as a refresher, remember, in management, you don't assume that everyone knows where they're at because people come to the cohorts at different parts. The majority of you have a good working foundation in Blackboard Collaboration. So I'm just going to zoom right past there. Now, this one here is for my fully online class. I did this a couple of years. If you want to see what I asked for them, I will have an orientation when you're viewing it specifically for this adult fast track. Okay, so we have that. Now, the way I do it, how to be a successful online student, is just a lot of information you may have, or if you're not used to being a fully online virtual classroom, that will help you out. Okay, now, you know you have your weekly MyLab homework. Some of you already had in other classes you utilize MyLab or LearnSmart. Those are or sometimes there's another sentence. Those are the main publishers. So if I go LearnSmart, I'm just mixing the two up. My error. It's MyLab that you'll have. If not, I'll click on it and show you how to what to expect. Okay, now some students ask me when I do the first homework, I have the access code. Give me the registration link so I could go on. The way it's set up, or should be set up, the way I set it up is the minute you click on it, okay, let's see. So I'm going to come in here the minute, I'm in a student mode, so I may not be able to go into MyLab. Let's see. And I do that to make sure. So you click on here. It says all assignments, results, MyLab. Here's where you find your ebook. It will be in here. Student support, diagnostic. Click it on to make sure that you have the right PDF readers or anything for the videos. There's videos in here on MyLab. So if I go, here's your ebook on here. You could click on there. I want to just go on all assignments. You'll click on here. And you should see right now the assignments I have set up for you. Okay, now it's going to ask you to register. If you remember, the first time you're going to come in here, that's when you're going to use your passcode. I'm a student, so I'll go in later on and show you the assignment as an instructor, right? So I just wanted to, you could also pay by a credit card and get this. It's $84. So you'll get the ebook, you get everything else in here, pay for it, and you're ready paired. And the reason this is paired, so now after you finish this process here, you will automatically, anytime you do the homework, they're not going to ask you. You could also use Pearson's, I think it's, if I'm mistaken, it says Pearson Master Lab, and you click on there, and it'll, you can log in and go directly from your smartphone or other devices without going through Blackboard. You do your homework, but it'll transfer those grades right into Blackboard. That's why I want you to do a Blackboard to start off, so it's paired together, so your grades in MyLab will not automatically, when I release them to come into Blackboard. Okay, so that's how you do it. Are we good? So here's your access code. You're all right. All right, so now I'm going to stop this. I'm going to get out here, and then you do your homework, your ebooks, everything else in here. All right. Now, you will have weekly discussions. Part of the thing to have the hours, you can have weekly discussion. Now, fully online, I have more weekly discussions. I require a lot more from the students than I would when I'm doing a virtual classroom or an adult fast track. Because instead of the weekly discussion portions in a face-to-face class or in a virtual, we do it on a discussion board. You're still going to have some discussion because that's real life. You're going to have discussion, but then you're going to be able to what do you call it? I was going first. I got lost in my train of thought. So you'll be able to come back and be able to, since you're in a virtual classroom, I minimize the amount of discussion requirement. A little different, but I minimize it so it still meets the total hours you spend to, required to earn this your credits hours for this course here. Understand? You may tell it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. You're doing 16 weeks in 16 weeks in 6 weeks. You're already trained. This is at the end. You're already like a runner. This is nothing for you. Most of you are going to go for your bachelor's, and you're looking for colleges that have adult fast track. Okay, so you're going to have your weekly discussion, weekly assignments. Now, the one part in this class you're going to have to start thinking of an article. Every chapter, everyone in here, depends on the students. I think right now I've got like 8 or students, so I'll have like 2 small groups. And the reason it's smaller because of the COVID-19 and the virtual classroom, people are kind of staying home, or their employment they don't have the financial means. That would be, I hate to say this, but that's a good time to complete your degree. You're home. You may have to take a loan a little bit, to the government, no interest for a while. Think it through. You have to look at the opportunity. Instead of saying, I look at things, what could I do? Strategically, what's happening? So when you look at a company, here's what, I can't change anything. Strategically, how do I minimize my effect on the organization? Like you're looking at how to minimize my effect to achieve my goals of getting my degree, and how do I minimize and how do I maximize perfect planning and organizing and setting up the organization to at least bring in the revenue I needed in this environment I have to operate now. Okay, so you have that. So what's going to happen is you're going to pick up an article. Everyone's going to have to do 2 articles. And when you have an article, you're just going to find an article, whatever, and the article has to pertain to the chapter we're discussing that week, because that will be your introduction. When I come in, hi, I'm Dr. George, in our virtual classroom. Okay, who's doing the articles? We're like, let me look at my syllabi here. I have the points, so look at the points. The articles are basically 20 points each. You'll come into the classroom and you'll say, and you'll submit an article into Blackboard in the homework assignment. When you go on the online, I have a recording how to submit that, and then you'll give me the link, and then just like about 300 words, about like a page, and you'll say how this article pertains to the chapter reading. And then in our discussion virtual classroom, you'll say, hi, this is similar to what you'll be doing in the classroom if you were meeting with me face to face. I picked up this article on Best Buy, and strategically here's where Best Buy is going to realign, or Target is realigning, and it pertains to chapter 5 and this concept they're discussing. The whole thing of learning, going to school, is what I learn in the classroom. I'm able to see outside the classroom as a case study and say, hey, I see what this organization is doing. I look at this, disseminate the information, do the research, see what they're doing, kind of get a general idea, and see if any of these parts will work well in this course that I'm doing or for my company. Should I take it? Why reinvent the wheel? Dave doing it. Oh yeah, I could do this. Some of the stuff may not be practical for your organization. That's why this is called strategic management. How do I find what works and what doesn't work? Okay, so you have that assignment, and then when you click on here, I don't have it in here, but basically, let's see what happens. Survey. Article review. I have the one article review. So you will not for the first week. The following week, everyone has to do it. So you submit them. Try to get it done. You have to do 2. It's 8 weeks, so the first 6 weeks you'll have 1 there. We'll see how it works out. We'll get everyone. It depends on the size of the class. I'll do the adjustment. You'll click on this. This means it's a homework assignment. You'll click on here. I'm just going through this so you could see as a refresher. Sometimes I got new ones. Okay, I got to get rid of all this. Junk. All right. So you're going to come in here and just write submission. You could write your submission and put it right in here. You could click on here and you could type, you write in your own Word, Google Docs, I don't care. Try to utilize Microsoft Office Word and Microsoft Office. It's free here at the for Harper as a Harper student. You have it. You have the whole program. You go office dot, and it says institutional, and you put in your Harper email, and you could download it in 5 other laptops, you know, your own personal one, or desktop, or also you could put it on. They also have a Mac version on that. Utilize in business. I don't hire anyone unless you know Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Teams, and one other in there. So at least you could say, and it's one more thing you could write on your resume. I am proficient. Or I understand. If you're not proficient, am I proficient? Because then you're kind of exaggerating. Just say, I know how to utilize Office. Okay, so here's where you would write it, and you cut and paste it. Now I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to cancel this, and but I'm going to come in here the way I want you to try to do it, because you're going to be submitting your papers and everything else. You have a final project you'll be doing, and it will be submitted in Microsoft Office Word, not Google Dot, anything else. It has to be Microsoft Office Word, because that's what Blackboard will read it, and I could grade it. Okay, so you're going to come in here, and instead you're going to browse my computer. And I'm just going to pick this one, whatever it is. You could submit it as a PDF file. I can still mark it up, or you can submit it as a Word. So let's just submit it this. Okay, so it's in here. And in the comments area, you'll write Dr. George, even got spell check. Dr. George, here it is. Here it is. That's all this is. Or if you want to say, hey, I'm not sure if I loaded it right, or something else, all right? And then you submit it, and that's it. Okay, I'll see if it takes a submittal on here, and then what it says is, see, it shows it in here, and then when you get it on yours, you will know it's submitted because you'll have an asterisk in Blackboard. I just didn't grade it. It comes in here and it shows up, and I will be able to grade it and mark it up. So you know it came in here because you see it in here, and so that means I'll do it. And then when I finish it, I will grade it and I'll give you a point. Okay, so I'm going to get out of there. Let's see if I can get out of here. Okay, I don't want to get out of here. Okay, so that's how you do the homework. Now, what I want, you've got your calendar. Make sure you check your calendar. Your calendar basically set up here. These are for all the homeworks that I have set up for this thing. You can see all the, these are all due dates. For which class is this? Man, this is my other class that just started in the fast track. I had to spend a little more time with them. But see, so you could just turn off which ones you want. This is another child. I don't do child development. Let me get rid of this one. I do evaluation of courses. I do other things. So I'm a contractor for Harper College, or an adjunct instructor. So I come from the corporate world. I have my own consulting business, and I teach here in another and several other schools, other streams of income. That's my life. All right, so I could just turn this off, but I do evaluations on other instructors' Blackboard, how they're set up, not on the content. It's just that it's easier for a student to follow. Okay, so that's why that's up. You could click that on and just for the class you're on, or click all of them. If you don't want to freak out, just click on the one class you have right now. Okay, so you got the calendar. You have my videos. My videos are here. All my videos are here. This one should have been here. This is, I'm converting my videos. If you click on my videos, they're all YouTube videos. You click on there, and you could see it. This one's from 18. The only difference on this one was from the book was to version 16. This is version 17. So they updated the data, everything else. The concepts are all the same. So if I'm doing right now, just I have to do a little update on some of the pages. If I didn't catch it, you say, oh, he said at page 365, but it's really on page 367. Okay, big deal. It's in the same chapter. They may change some of it around, so I'll check on that, but we're doing all right. All right, so but these are going to the whole lecture. So let's see. If you click on any of these are all YouTubes. You could do the closed captions. I created them. They're about 99% accurate, except for my name. I got tired of going Dr. George Mochocki. He's by Mochocki, so it's Dr. George. But you're doing all right. So you can look at them. They're not required, but they are supplemental to you. When you look at my lab has videos. My lab has other flashcards. It has a lot of stuff to help you. Some students like to look at the videos. You could download them on YouTube. You're waiting in a line. You're bored. You can't sleep. You could do it on your smartphone, and you could at least get a general idea of that. Okay, so I took care of that. Now you also have in here. You have, I utilize mind maps. So these are mind maps, and that's 16. I don't do too much of the detail on mind maps. I just look at the concept. These are all in PDF files. You click on them, and I don't have one open. I don't want to spend the time on that. It'll open up and you'll see the mind map. And the mind map you open up first before you either listen to my lecture or do the homework. It gives you the second tier. It gives you all the key concepts and just a little bit about it. And you could add in more information you need. Or, okay, you have that. You also have the chapter PowerPoints. This is from the 16th version. I haven't updated them. I did this as a help for students. But if you look at my lab, you go to the home page of my lab, you'll have all the PowerPoints, everything else in there. You're adults, you should be able to utilize the resources and find that. I just did it at one time for a new class. I was doing it, but you could figure it out. All right. What else do you have? You have the author's PowerPoint chapters, strategy club link. This is a link. You could come in there and you could talk to other students, not from Harper, but generally in a global environment. Okay. Case paper. You're going to be doing a team case paper. I'll break you up in teams, depending on the student. Sometimes I only had a team of 2 people in my class because it's a required. Remember, you're in a cohort, so you're working with the same individual. Some people couldn't make the group or whatever, but you're guaranteed or fairly that you'll be able to, if you do everything that the program requires, you'll meet your objectives. By going to that, you'll meet your objectives, your goal objectives of attaining when your certificate or degree at that date. Okay. So you have that. Blah, blah, blah. So if you click on here, what you're going to have, here's the resources guide, to comprehensive analysis, final case. I tell you everything. This is how it's set up. So look at it before. We'll discuss it. Remember, you're in 6 weeks. I want you to be ahead of the curve. You already know what's required. Here's the paper. I've got individual. It's the same requirements, just more for a team. I just double it. It doesn't make a difference. Case by things, team written paper, 150 points, and then you'll also be doing a PowerPoint presentation. So when I click on this, I have this open up just so you have a general idea. Once you click on it and look at it, then we'll have something to discuss when you're doing a virtual classroom. That's what it's about, okay? So let's go. To make it easy for everyone, I've did everything else in here. Would you see a weekly folder? I put all these, I created links in every one of these things that you need in here for the first 1 or 2 weeks. The third week is going to be just what you need to do the homework. Bum, bum, bum. I won't put the links in. Here's where your mind maps are. Here's where your PowerPoint. They're there. You're adult. You know where to find it. It's a resource. You have it. You're just in a room. I've had all my books. I just need this right now to work on. First 2 weeks I help you through to get used to the program. So if you're not sure what any of this, you click on here. Now these are specific. These are always open. Now here's what you have to do. And one thing, when all right, so all you see is week 1. All my other weeks are there. This is the only week that's available. After this week is done, it's turned off. Same thing with all these other homework assignments. It's not whenever you want to do it. Business is all about due date, and you already know that. You had myself, other instructors. You may have had Dr. Robin. She's another one on due date, just like I am, due date. She comes out of the corporate world. I came out of the corporate world, all right? So you have other instructors in here. You have Sharon Page. I mean, I'm just throwing some instructors that you've already had, accounting instructors. So you're doing good. They already have this, so you're already familiar with this program, right? So you click on here, and this is what's going to happen. You've got your weekly class. I already create the link. If you forget, you click on here, boom. I did this weekly. I always check it weekly. Orientation video, boom. There's a link in here. Orientation, anytime you see these, link, boom. Weekly assignments, right? Here's the link, boom. Weekly discussion, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you're going to tell me about yourself, introduce yourself. Most of you already know it. I don't. I want to see how you communicate virtually. Then you're going to have another weekly discussion. Okay, weekly discussion. Let's click on this link because there's 2. This one's you introduce yourself. Remember your discussion boards here. I left it the same because I didn't change it. Written discussion. My lab quizzes. Weekly discussion boards are worth 10 points each. Usually they'll be worth 30, but I expect more. But since we had the virtual classroom, I brought it down to 10 because I'm not. You'd still have a discussion board, but you won't be as active because you'd be talking to me in a virtual classroom. You come in here, you have your discussion. All right, and you introduce yourself. You'll have another one there that's going to ask you about a mission statement. You're going to have to come up with some kind of mission statement or a business. So what I'm looking at is going to talk about your own mission statement, where you're working at. If you're not working, you're going to take a mission statement from a Harper College or someplace that you worked before, or look up a mission statement, and we'll discuss that in our discussion. So you're going to have two discussions. And then down the road, the discussion board will be utilized for you to help other students within as a team, as an interactive communication mechanism within a business, how you talk to other individuals, and also in a virtual classroom. All right, so we have that. So you'll do that weekly. Let's go back to my weekly folder. All right, you have that. You have everything else there. One thing I want to say, orientation, your My Lab, you have the due dates. You're basically going to be doing 3 chapters for the first 2 weeks. 3 chapter, 3 chapter. Then I trim it down to 2 chapters per week, basically, because then you'll be working in your group. You'll be working at, you're going to have to select a company, either a company but the company you're selecting is a company that's having problems. Don't select a company that's doing well. I don't want to see a company doing well. Strategic management for that company is, I want you to look at it as a manager, to use what you learned from all the other courses you've taken in this class to get that feel. And you're taking a strategic management class, so you're going to look at a company that's failing. If your company is not failing, and always look for a public company, unless it's your own company is failing, your small business, and how do I turn it around? And you're going to utilize every chapter reading. There's a little section for a case study, how to prepare for an overall strategic management goals. Normally in a 16-week course, I'd ask for 2 plans. Plan A, Plan B, and business is usually 3 I have to submit. Here, I think I'm going to ask you for 1 plan, okay? And then we'll talk a little bit about that. So that's about it. That's the whole thing on here. It's open. I want to welcome you again. Oh, one more thing. Look at the syllabi. Click on the syllabi. The syllabi is in here. I have the syllabi. Let me just open it up here. 1 second. You may not see it. Let me bring it in here. All right. I'm just in here. Open it up. You have my picture, has everything in here, verbal. Here's the book that you need. Here's the passcode. You could go in directly, or you could come in here, click on there, and you have that option to buy it directly, so you know you're in the right course and everything else, the right book, because you're doing the right homework assignment that's paired with this Blackboard, or you could go directly on here. Here's how it's broken up. And the points are in here, running total, the due dates, everything else you need in here. Here's the homework, right? And we'll talk about that later. So look at it. Everything's working. I think that's it. I'm going to exit now. I just want to welcome you one more time to the Strategic Management class, Management 291. And again, whatever section is, some of you might have already had me in other classes. Some of you, this is the first time you met me. Look at the bio. Now you know who I am. You would have met me the first day in class. I would have came in, and we would have been making the connection for the 4 hours. You would have been in the blended adult facts class, because now we had to do some adjustments. We're in a virtual blended, and then once this is over, we'll be back to the face-to-face. But at that time, you may say, how about having one face-to-face and one virtual classroom for 4 hours. I do virtual classrooms for 4 hours. You just got to give them breaks every 10 minutes. No different than some of your friends, that got kids, or you got your own kids, or siblings, or somebody else that's in Zoom classes like my grandson is, and they're there for 8 hours. Every 10 minutes, every hour they take a 10-minute break to come back, and they come back, and no different than what you would in a face-to-face classroom. This is the closest thing to it, and again, I want to welcome you. I'm Dr. George Mochocki. You can call me Dr. George. I'll see you Wednesday at 6 o'clock. You know how to get in. I'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Open up stuff and start looking at it. Play around. You can start doing some of the homework. Everything else, discussion board, it is going to be available. It's already available. If you listen to this, it's available. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sending it to you. Bye. Now, let's see. 34 minutes is a good quick overview to know a little bit about myself, a little bit about what you do. I would normally go a little bit more, but since you're already, this is more at the end of a lot of the students who are taking me for 291 strategic management. You have all this other background. You already been in Blackboard. You already know how to work in teams. You're already in the same cohort. Not all. Sometimes people pop in because they missed it in another cohort, so this may be new. But overall, you already know. You already know what to do. You're very close to achieving your goal, either for a certificate or for your associate degrees here at Harper in whatever discipline that you're trying to achieve. Because this class covers all different disciplines. Again, I'm Dr. George Mochocki, and once again, welcome and thank you for taking this course here at Harper. It's a good value for your money, and you meet a lot of other people, and it'll help you go forward. Okay, so now 35 minutes. I want to make it even. Okay, bye.